Hey everyone, this is Alex here, and in this video today I'm going to be talking about why you should not teach English in Seoul. And I'm going to tell you exactly why putting down Seoul as your preference for the city you want to teach English in is actually killing your chances of getting a job. So I'm going to offer some alternatives to that, explain why I say it, and help you kind of decide where you would want to teach and give you some reasons why other options are good too. It's been bothering me a little bit because the whole idea of teaching English in Korea here in Seoul, Korea, in Thailand. I'm out here in beautiful Hanoi, Vietnam. So why would I say something like this? Because Seoul, of course, is an awesome city. I love it. It's really great. And I know that a lot of people are familiar with it and want to teach there when they go abroad to teach English. Now, the reason I make this point is because I've been running my website, ninjateacher.com, which helps people find teaching jobs through a recruiting network. And I get up to 10 applications every day of people sending in their resumes. And of course, there's like a little form you fill out with your information. And one of the fields is, what is your city preference? Okay, and take a wild guess what every single person puts down. Seoul. Okay, so now I guess the reason for that is because it is a great city. People know about it. It is the capital city. And I'll talk about this in a bit, but of course it's not the only great city in Korea. But now what happens when everybody is putting down Seoul as their preference? Well, there's a lot of competition for jobs and schools are picky. And the fact of the matter is not everyone who applies for Seoul is going to get a job there. So basically by putting down Seoul as your preference and not being open to other locations, you're basically killing your chances of getting job offers. Now, of course, you may get some offers, but you may not get any. So this is a big issue with people who are applying and are inflexible about the location that they choose. So what does this mean for you and what can you do in this situation? Well, I was in the same position myself. When I decided to come teach English abroad over 2 years ago, I wanted to be in Seoul because, I'd heard all the good things about it and I didn't know much about the rest of the country. Now, I went through the EPIC program, which is a great program. It's run by the government and it brings in a couple of thousand teachers every year, maybe 6,000 to 7,000. And the great thing about that is they look after you, you have an orientation. However, you don't have any choice in where you're located. So you could be in a small city, you could be in a larger city, you could be in a rural area, and you have no choice in the matter, which actually really sucks because I had my heart set on firstly Seoul, but then I saw the EPIC program. I was like, okay, I really want to go through this program. And while it was really good, I was placed just outside of Daegu, which is the 3rd or 4th biggest city in South Korea. But I wasn't even in Daegu. I was in a small little city just outside of Daegu. Now, it was okay because I could commute into Daegu. It took me about 45 minutes on the train. So that was a less than ideal situation. So the nice thing is if you do go with private academies, you can pick and choose which job you want and exactly where you want. Now, even though Seoul is competitive and maybe putting it as your preference is not the wisest move if you do want to get a job, you can choose one of the other big cities. And that's an option I didn't have. I ended up in a small little city, and while I had an amazing time in Korea, I still managed to travel and see so much of the country and do really, really cool things, as you'll be able to see from the videos on my channel if you've seen some of them. But other than that, I didn't have any choice, and I would have liked to have been able to choose a bigger city. And after coming to Korea and realizing that being in a big city like Daegu or Daejeon or Incheon or Busan or Gwangju would be absolutely awesome. And I was kind of sad that I wasn't in one of those cities. So I think the nice thing is knowing that, yeah, maybe you're not going to be able to find a job in Seoul because it's very competitive. However, there are these other cities. And for example, Daegu is 2.5 million population. That's the same size as like Chicago. Other big cities are as big as 1.5 million in Daejeon. Gwangju, I think, is also 1.5 million. And that totally trumps, say, San Francisco, which is kind of 800,000 population, as well as Austin, Texas. That's also 800,000 population. So even these cities that you may not even have heard of are like way bigger than some of the biggest cities in the United States, which means that there's going to be great nightlife, there's going to be lots of stuff to do, good shopping, modern, very first world, good transportation, and you'll be making a good salary out there. So my suggestion to you is put down one of these other big cities as your preference and you'll get a lot more job options. Put down multiple big cities, say you're flexible, and then you'll get sent a lot of job options, and then you can choose one that you really like and still be in a really awesome, happening kind of city in South Korea and really have a great time. Whereas if you just set your heart on Seoul, just because everyone says Seoul is so great, then you might be disappointed because you won't get a job, or you just won't get as many job offers and maybe even give up in the process. So I would suggest you open your horizons and choose another city and be flexible about your location. Another nice option is to be in Gyeonggi-do province, which is the surrounding area of Seoul. And in fact, what it is these little satellite cities around Seoul. So each one is a little city that is actually, almost all of them are connected to Seoul on the subway line, like the underground subway that goes all the way into the center of Seoul. So you can usually get to the center and different areas of Seoul within an hour. And yet there's still these big cities in and of themselves surrounding Seoul. For example, Suwon is right near Seoul, and that's like over 1 million population. And there's a bunch of other ones which are really nice cities to live in, and then you're right next to Seoul, like you can just get there on the subway, or bus or something, like super quickly. So that's a good option if you really wanted to be in Seoul, near Seoul. You could at least expand your horizons to, I keep saying that, horizons, but expand your search to Gyeonggi-do as well as Seoul, and that will give you more options. Okay, and just one more quick tip is you actually will be able to save some more money if you're not in Seoul, because Seoul is kind of expensive. So if you are going to be wanting to save some money, it's a good thing to do is be in a different city or smaller area, because then you can save more, which is always nice, right? So I also have another video comparing the different cities which I shot in Busan, which is a huge city of over 3 million people. It's the biggest city that's not Seoul. It's the second biggest city. And it's one of my favorite cities too. It's got the beach and everything. So, Busan is an amazing option too. So check out that video where I talk a little bit more about the differences between big cities as well as small towns, which you might find useful. Otherwise, yeah, submit your application on ninjateacher.com if you want to get some teaching jobs sent your way. Just send over your resume and we can help you out with that. Otherwise, just like and subscribe and stay tuned for some more videos about teaching English abroad. All right, that's it from me. Speak to you soon. Peace.